also confirm that you can hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Because this is the default laptop microphone, but it's quite area, so I'm sure they should be okay. So I'm trying to share my screen. Okay, and I want to do this with a window and okay, and I want to have the great view for the So confirm me that you can see the title slide.
We can see everything, including your speaker notes.
So there should be the different tabs, but I don't know how it should be working. And right now you see the keynote, right?
We see slide, and under this we see notes for speaker as well.
Yeah, and when I do the play mode, you can see them as well, right?
No, I mean, yes, we see the same.
Because for me, I have a nice, it seems to me I know what's going on. So let me try again. Now you should see the nice title slide, and I should see my my speaker notes.
We see the same. We see
God
slide
bless.
and your speaker notes.
Okay. So I'm trying to have the view for you. So probably I need to reshare the screen because it seems to me that last time it was. Okay, let's try to do this. What is my best window? Enter screen. I can share screen too. Now you will see all the speaker notes, and now let me know that you can see right now.
Yes, now it's perfect.
Whoa, it was a laptop and the monitor setup, and we will have probably in future the separate sessions, how to do the Zoom calls with the several monitors. So, but today, I know that we have a coding club, and this is more informal coding club. This is not the proper course, and so we just figuring out what will be the best format for this, and that is why we're starting from the really basics, everything which related to Python. And our first 3 sessions was about the hello world, about the how to run it in the command line, and some basic structures and the objects that we have in Python. And today, knowing that every time our group is mixed and people come in, I decided to have the session about different ideas, because anyway, everyone who will be coding Python will choose between different ideas and probably the code editors. And this is my everyday, day-to-day tools, and for you probably as well, because we have many of them, and you can choose whatever will fit better to your purpose. Because for the education, you can use one tools, for some research task, another one. For the production, will be better to have the more powerful ideas, and not to stick to the structure. Today, we will have more about them. So probably you know what is ED. It is Integrated Development Environment. This is the tool which you're using for coding and refactoring and debugging. And in these days, this is the absolutely perfect tools with a lot of features which make your life better. And I want to talk about the most common of them, but probably this is my personal experience. And after I will tell you about some of them. I want to discuss with you what will be better, or probably what is your experience with them. So I see here that in most cases right now, EDE and code editors, this is exactly the same. Probably the code editors, this more simplified things. For example, for Python, you can write code in every text editor. It can be Notepad, it can be TextPad, it can be even Vim or some other text editors. And the main thing there, which is converted to the Python file, this is the proper extension Py. Because the Python, this is interpreted language. This is not compiled language. So you just write in the sequence of steps, and the code will be running on the C compiler. And what the difference between EDE and code editors? This is the EDE is more complex, code editors more simplified. But nowadays you will see it further that code editors is quite close to EDEs. So most of the EDEs, they have some language-specific features. For example, if you use Python, you will use one of them. For Java, another ones. For C, another ones. And it depends from what are you focusing right now and what language is your primary language. Project management. This is which allow you to structure the project, to have all the commits in one time, to have some comments, to have some collaboration development on one branch, integrated debugging that you can debug and point to every step of your code, and whenever you want to test more details. And in code editor, they have the same syntax highlighting, some version control as well, some plugins and extension available, and terminal have in most of them. But probably in some cases they have now this integrated copilot or not so smooth connector to database. For example, if you retrieve some data with a Python and wanted to see everything in one place. So let's start with our first one. And ladies who was before on our sessions knew that we were working with a Python command line, Python terminal. This is the window that you will see when you do Python 3 from the terminal Mac or shell command line in Windows. This is default editor, which accompanies Python, and this exactly suits perfect to the beginner level developers. And we were trying some simple tasks and exercises, and it works well. And it doesn't depend from the operational system, so you don't need to care about this. This is you have by default, you shouldn't install this. It's completely free. And also, despite it's very simple, you can use it for the search for different files, and also you will see the different highlights, probably simplified, but anyway. And, also, it have some smart intents like basic with the basic text editor features. They're more complicated and probably more powerful. And one of my favorite, this is the Sublime Text. And it was started as a text developer, a text editor. And after they add the compare files features, and after there are more developers used to work there. And right now, this looks like exactly the EDE. This is the very popular code editor for any languages. And for example, I use it for the SQL as well, because from my point of view, it has a really great coloring and highlighting. And when you have the SQL for 3 screens, it's really easy to navigate and see what the logic there. when you need to find something specific. It's highly customizable, and it's really simple, so you don't need to do anything, just navigate through your files. And also, one of my favorite features is compare files. For example, of course, we have Git, but sometimes I have development in many folders in my local machine, and I need to find what exactly was there, and I use it for this. And also, another great feature that it's also doesn't depend from the operational system. It looks exactly the same on Windows, on Python, and you don't need to install them. Just download the executive file, and this will be working without any effort. And after, I wanted to tell you about another one, my favorite. And probably if you were working before with some Java, and also maybe you were working with databases, and you know the company JetBrains, they have several IDEs. Probably the most popular from them, this is IntelliJ IDEA. And the PyCharm, this is the IDE for the Python. They work perfectly because this is so powerful, nice, easy, and they have everything included. And it has a community edition as well, so you don't need to pay subscription for the most of the features. And it supports different, not only different languages, but also for Python, it supports as PyFile and Jupyter Notebook, which has extension IPyNB. This is another type of the UI for the Python files, but it's quite popular for some research tasks and analysis when you don't need to write code strictly to production. And in PyCharm, there will be all the features about the branch development, code refactoring, and code navigation. Also, it also have a lot of plugins, and I love this connection to the database because in one place I can see not only the Python, but also when I do some Python jobs, and after I wanted to see what data was updated and what was the timestamp or version in database, I can see it in my window as well. So I love it so much. And I also think that in future we will present their educational features, but it's just a small announce that PyCharm has a JetBrains Academy plugin where you can use some learning features inside the EDE. This is how it looks. I think like most coding EDEs, it's something from the Matrix movie. They have a different type of appearance, everything fine, and they have debugger, and also very simple navigation and visualization debugger. PyCharm optimized for Python. Also there you can create the environments and select different interpreters. And I think probably one of our session could be about the different virtual environments as well, because this is the really what you will need for everyday job tasks. And with the PyCharm, they also have some code completion and code linter with the helpers and some interesting advice. And also they have, I see here that they have some tools for web development. I didn't use it for web because I'm not a front-ender, but also there are supported frameworks like Django, Flasks, and others. Also for debugging and testing tool, they have graphical debugger. They have the test runner integration for unit tests. And also they have what? I'm trying to come back. And also they have different plugins. For example, if you install the PyCharm as is, but you need something which is available on the plugins market, or some other developers contribute to open source, you can do it as well. And if we are talking about the plugins, they're probably the same favorite ID, like a PyCharm, which I'm working last year and a half. This is the Visual Studio Code. And I remember this when the Visual Studio Code was for the Objective-C development. It was the early 2000. And that time it was probably some big, huge IDE, but right now it's lightweight and quite faster and simple. And I'm using it right now, and I'm quite happy with this. Also, besides all the Python features, it has some features for the different plugins. And if you're thinking that, oh, I wanted to have this functionality, don't rush to trying to implement something, because in most cases there are some plugins which can simplify it for testing, for refactoring, and so on. Also for database connection, because as a data engineer, my main interest is the different connectors with the different databases, and in this case, everything works by default. And of course, this version control with the easily integrated with Git, and it's free. It's completely free. And if PyCharm have the community edition and after professional editions, so Visual Code it's free every time, and it also has a debugger. And in most cases, you can choose whatever you whatever works better. And I know that the Visual Studio before, they was more focused on the Windows, but right now, as I'm using Mac, they are quite good on Mac. And it was our gigantic, powerful, absolutely amazing ideas. And imagine in that some days you don't need to do some prod tasks, or you are not working on the pipelines, but probably you are a researcher, because before I became a data engineer, I was a data scientist, and most of my code was some research code, which is not so critical to be really optimized and fast and well structured. But anyway, I had to do the different task and to see the outcome right after the right after the running small chunks of code. And for these purposes, I use Jupyter notebooks, which is browser interface for the coding. And there also they have the Jupyter Hub, Jupyter Lab, and Project Jupyter. This is the IDE, which really looks like RStudio, because I think their inspiration was the RStudio and some old MATLAB studios and so on. But after it figured out to a Jupyter environment, and if you wanted to have some quick tasks, or probably you wanted to use the Python code for your study, if you do your master thesis or PhD or so on, here you will have not only the code, but also a nice visualization, some things that you can put in the paper. So I think the scientists love Jupyter. And also you can use it for your micro tasks. I know that in our company, analysts use it. And when I need to check some data discrepancy, I use the charts as well. And the last one, which I was using when I was taught school kids. I was taught Python for school kids, and they were not so keen to play around different ideas. They wanted to write code faster right now, so Google Colab. This is the great EDE as well. So probably it's not the EDE in the terms of the EDE features, but this is the place when you can try to do any exercise or practice lead code or test some or prepare for the coding interview, but you don't want to think about what environment I should have, what Python version, what I need to do with my laptop, because here Colab available as a browser, and you can also put there any code, and also in some cases you can use the CPU and GPU and even TPU resources. I think in this case, you will need to have the GCP account, but some people use this for the solving Kaggle competitions. Kaggle, this is the machine learning competitions when you have the data set and you need to implement model and train this model and evaluate and so on. So for these purposes, Google Colab works great as well. This entirely in the cloud, and if you're not using the TPU, you don't need to pay any credits, and to use it only as a simple and quick thing for the quick access to Python. Also, you can share some Python there, because as every file on the Google Drive, you will have the link. So it was the quick review of the ideas that I was using the last several years. And right now, I wanted to see more, to hear more question or probably discussion, because this is the format that probably will be more comfortable for me to have a call, like we have a meeting call and we have a really club. And maybe I living as a responsible adult too long, so I need people to chat with. And that is why right now, after these ideas, let's discuss what can work better. So I'm stopping this one and I'm stopping this one. And now I wanted to talk to you. Let's start with the questions, if you have some questions right now. Oh, we didn't talk to it, that when you come, what advantage part to have this code? It depends on the purpose, what you wanted to have, because PyCharm have the, by default, connectors to the database. When you work with VS Code, you need to have the plugin for this. And as VS Code, this is the plugins, the many plugins contributed by the independent open source contributors, and not every of them will be perfect, and probably you need to try several to choose the best one. But in the terms of the main features, I see no difference at all. Also, in VS Code, you will have the Copilot available, and in PyCharm, they right now have their own the LLM code linter. So anyway, you will have assistants in both of them. Also, it depends from the company which you're working for, because in many cases, when you join the company, they already have some EDE which they used to use, or probably if they don't have, and everyone use the difference. So someone with Sublime Text and someone with not any EDE, but you can bring your own, which is the best for the button app development and data analysis. Oh, this is a really great question, because for the Python app development, probably you wanted to have a proper ID, because you will need to debug your code and you will need to do some testing. And also this is more about the branch development. And I would advise here this VS Code or PyCharm, whatever you want. And for data analysis, maybe it also differ from what data analysis you want to see. If you have a data analysis or data processing in one Python script, and after visualize it in some BI tool, in this case, it will be okay to have the VS Code or PyCharm as well. But if you need visualization, I would advise to use some Jupyter Notebook, or in PyCharm, they also support the notebook files as well. And also, maybe the more powerful will be Jupyter Hub. Jupyter Hub, this is the cloud notebooks. And here, the only one difference there that where your code running. So if it's okay to run it on the cloud, and in your company you have the cloud environment and so on, Jupyter Hub will be okay because it has more resources. But if you have your local data analysis, Jupyter Notebook with a browser version, or just a Python package, which is IPython, will be more than enough. And also, if you will need to have some visualization for data analysis, for reporting, or for doing any interactive visualization with the filters, the Python have the features to, it's called Shiny. Let me Google how it out. So you can do the collab Shiny for Python, and using this tool, you can convert your Python code, your Jupyter code, in the web browser-like application with the interactive visualization. And it's lightweight, it's very simple, it's great for some hackathons when you need to do something from scratch, but you have no proper front-ender in your team, only the Python developers, but you wanted to have something interactive. And also for some data analysis, if we are talking about the download the data and trying to see patterns, or trying to do some exploratory analysis, this will be Python Jupyter Notebooks. But if we wanted to download a large amount of data with probably Spark, if we are working with the big data and we need, for example, run some code which do anomaly detection, analyzing the big amount of data. So here, this probably will be the Python files, and the Python when run the Python files in the job, so more hardcore. But if the beginner friendly, I think that Jupyter Notebook will work. And also you can use it, why not using some code editors when you are doing the lead code. In lead code, they have their internal code editor and the evaluator, and it works good. And in some cases, you can test your if you testing the some approaches, you can do there as well. And probably it's more about methods. Yeah. And I also use in VS Code because right now I'm not only with the Python, but with a language which is called Genia. This is some custom language, but in VS Code, it's really easy to create file with every extension, and it's supported by default. And also when you are choosing what probably will be great to use, maybe let's pretend that you are not in the working with the Python right now, but trying to do some course and so on. In most cases, their courses have some simple setup, so we offer to use the Python default editor or some Jupyter notebooks or something like this. You can test different or the same exercises, different EDs. So you can install the VS Code, PyCharm, and try something more lightweight, some Sublime text, and try to do exactly the same exercise in 3 of them, and just fit what works for you better. And I think for the IDs, there can be strict restrictions if you use some license, corporate license. And in this case, it will be great to use as other developers using, but for personal tasks, or in our case, when we have no commercial for child license, we are free here. And maybe you can choose your favorite ED, and after, when you will be switching between jobs, you will stay with this same, and this will be less stress for you. Keep the same ID instead of the jumping from the other one. But in most of the cases, I can compare PyCharm, VS Code, and Sublime Text, and they look very similar. So it doesn't big deal to use two new ADE, because they have the same navigation, they have the same layer alignment, so it will be great. And probably I wanted to ask you right now, maybe you use some EDs which were not mentioned there, because when I was preparing, I heard about the ED Atom, but I'm not using this, and that is why. Desktop application with HTML. Okay, let's try to do with the Python. Yeah, I think that maybe I wasn't using this because it's more about some front end, because I was backend and some data engineering tools. I wasn't touch backend since HTML times. IntelliJ IDEA. Yeah, IntelliJ IDEA, this is the IDE for 3 of them, and it seems to me that this more about the Java and Kotlin IDE. Yeah, this is the JetBrains company as a PyCharm, and I think that these two, IntelliJ and PyCharm, has exactly the same foundation, but IntelliJ more customized for Kotlin and Java, and PyCharm for Python. Mhm. Vim. Vim, this is a really great, and Vim, which is Melvin. Vim focused on the extensibility, seeks to aggressively factor Vim to auditor. So this is the filter. I know that when some people started to learn Python, they can do this exactly in Vim, because Vim is an editor, and the most popular query, the most popular request in Google is how to exit Vim. And I know that coder guys who love to solve algorithmic tasks and to have a 100 t-shirt, they can do the Python in a Vim as well. But I think that in Vim, of course, it will be working, but not so intuitive how to do the simple tasks like an open file, change it, and write, and after exit. But this is exactly the same like query text editor. It looks cool, but probably not too simple. But if you used to work with Vim before, of course you can do it in a Vim, because in this case you don't need to learn how to do it in this hardcore old-fashioned editor. Mhm. And what else we can do about the editors? So I know that, for example, in PyCharm, they also have in the Jupyter Notebook mode, they have the separate windows for the visualization, and you can see your charts there. So as this is the powerful ED, you can use it for the sciences, for your science code as well, because in this case, you will have in one place the tables if you need a screenshot from the papers. No, before the first 3 sessions, we had no practical tasks. We explored, for example, list arrays and some other order functions in Python, and it was the bit amount of theory with a very base info. And after we were implementing this, and it was a practical coding part session. And today we decided to do this review of the overview of the ideas to try how this will be, because the probably most tricky part for people who join for the first time, and this is the fourth session, and probably they're totally beginners in Python, we spend some time to explain how to run it and so on. And right now we're experimenting and trying to align what will work better. Probably this can be the mix, maybe this can be more practical, maybe in some cases this will be great to have this tea club when we look at something and trying to discuss what will work better and to think about how this can be implemented in the real life. And also, I know that after, correct me if I'm wrong, Irina, after every session, we have a feedback form. And that this is the thing which helps us to figure out the best shape and not to do it like yet another course. And that is why if you have some thoughts, oh, this can be, what else can we bring here? We will be happy to hear it there. And I think that will be great to have our unique vibe and unique shape for this coding club. And also, I think that maybe this is my women advocate purpose, that will be great to have more opportunity for the participants to talk, because I know that many women have probably lack of confidence to ask something when they show up for the first time in the new team and with the new people. And this is the best safe space for this when you have 15 people which you see for the first time. But everyone here is absolutely kind and open, and that is why I decided to try more chatting session to give a space for practice these questions and speaking, but take your time. If you feel not comfortable right now, that's absolutely fine. Thanks, Selena. We'll be happy to see you again. So I think that we can do some more, maybe planning, maybe some more topics, brainstorming session, brainstorming about the topics for the next session. And as we have 10 minutes, we can discuss it. And I also wanted to ask you what topics or what areas and in what level you wanted to see for the next sessions, which will help you right now. What we have know that we need to have in the sessions for your progress right now. Imagine just this month. And you can put it in the chat. Or probably if you want to explain it, you can unmute and write. Simple data science and analysis example. Or Codalon. I think this can be the example in a Google Colab because it's quite good for this one. Also, probably someone from these participants attend lead code or preparing to the coding interview. Because this is a separate kind of the tasks, algorithmic task, and we can try to explore some of them in terms of the Python. Otherwise, this was the description for this session. I think probably we do it in our lead code study group, right, Irina? Maybe it was not for the Python coding group, but they sounds very similar. But I think that lead code study group more focused on the algorithms, and the Python. This is more for those who want.
Yeah. Let me share. The initial idea was go through algorithms here as well, because Python is very popular for algorithms and data structure, and it's really faster. I would say faster to solve these lead code tasks through Python. So actually, if there is a demand for these sessions, I would suggest that we can consider to go through this book, Algorithm by Algorithm, because right now in our lead code study channel, we only publish what coding tasks we are solving. So we do not give lectures for this one, which is mean these coding sessions could be exactly beneficial from having these algorithms and data structures. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It actually was initial idea that we will go through algorithms and data structure at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that people join and then do not join to the next session. So for us, it became very hard to build the session one by one, because if you go through the book, you need to go chapter by chapter, algorithm by algorithm, which has become not that easy because people join again and again and they've never been on the previous session. So that's the explanation why I
Mm-hmm.
didn't come to this idea.
Mm-hmm. But this is the good action point, because I also are very interested to not only to explain, but to deep dive into the details how to properly solve the algorithm tasks, because a couple of coding interviews should be scheduled, but every time I postpone it because it needs to be refreshed, and that is why I think the only one thing that we can uh, try to do the at least one small task, and probably for the total beginners it can be uh, if the expectation about the Python, it will be more a theory about the algorithms, but we can try do this as well and see how it goes, because right now when we experiment in formats, and this is still not the course, we are completely free here, so let's do this. We have at least two sessions. This is the algorithm, and another one for the data analysis, and we will test both of them. And also, I think that it was a Grokking algorithm book. And do you remember, Irina, this PyCharm courses where they have the algorithms as well? So I think we could.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest. I'm not sure. I think they more explain the syntax than going through algorithms.
Yeah, I will test how we can combine them, but the algorithms, sure, we can do this.
I would suggest we can start with hash map
Mm-hmm.
in algorithms and data structure, because it's not that popular question, or how how dictionary under the hood is working.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me like in Java it's very popular question how hash map is working. Dictionary is working. I checked, it works in the same place,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not that trivial, because, for example, you don't have a linked list in the same way as you can define it in Java.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding the concept of linked list may be a bit harder for Python coding, but still they are used in this coding algorithms in data structure. So it could bring a lot of new perspective for those who coding in Python but do not use these structures.
Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was solving lead code tasks, and they had a subsets, for example, for Facebook or some these fun popular subsets, they had really a lot of hash map tasks. And when it was implementation on Python, this was really not the implementation which I use in my everyday tasks, but it was really useful to know to implement it in Python and to see how it works, how Python can be production effective. Because in most cases, the Python, even in production, companies consider it like, oh, that shouldn't be optimized. No, it should. And yeah, I think hash maps, this is a great example for this.
And now I'm intrigued even more. Definitely should go for it.
Um,
Okay, I think if you don't have any more questions for this session, oh, there one more. You
Interviews.
also, mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I think we will do this in the same like Grokking algorithms and hash maps, because everything on LeetCode, and we will take 1 or 2 tasks and go through them.
Perfect. Any more for any more? Anyone?
And also, as we are thinking about our future plans, the best time for planning, probably from the interview exercise. Do we have the interview preparing club? Probably yes, right?
We have a channel again, and in this case, if you have a coming interview, you can ask for someone to conduct mock interview for you. Because that's how it works. That's how a mock interviews program is working.
Yeah, great. And also we can do some study group, not with the mentor and studies, but all together do the study group between us and go through this popular LeetCode, for example, top 50 for the interview, and do it once a month, because for me it works better when I do it in a group. It's really hard to motivate myself to stay after 8 on the laptop doing a very hard job. But if I have some other suffering people around, it will be much better.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We did it in the past and we had many participants. Okay, if no more questions, and we almost in 8 p.m. Thanks a lot for joining us today. I hope these sessions brought you a lot of insight and helped you to navigate across all these coding environments, which is Python even more than for other languages. It's so popular, it's so many tasks that you can solve with the same language. So it's so many environments. And yeah, I think I hope it was very helpful. Again, please send us some feedback through our forum that help us iterate for sessions and understand how to make this coding club in the best format, where we can do it without your voice, your ideas, and your input. So please, it takes only 1 minute to submit this feedback. I send this link again. So yeah, please spend this 1 minute. And thanks a lot for joining us. Have a good evening and good weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, anything that remained? I also need to start recording. Wait. Oh, okay, now.